Hello everybody. Today I am planning to replace my headlights. I thought about it long and hard about whether to have a mechanic do it or to do it myself. So I got my very basic tools there. I got the actual headlights there. Well, I got some bird crap here, but that's not the point. So on the driver's side, it's actually like right now they look okay with just a little bit of discoloration right here. So once again, this is more from these little micro cracks that just kind of just so happen to happen, I guess, as the car in the plastics age. But this one is not the problem. It's this one that's really the problem. So now, I mean, this haziness is not going away, and it's not like a brake fluid rub on it and make it go away type of deal. It's actual moisture from all these little micro things. But I already went over it. So I thought about having a mechanic do it, but then when I looked at a couple videos and actually how this thing works, it's basically the same process to replace the bulbs as to take out these whole assemblies. Because I guess and once again, this is not this is all new to me. I'm sure this is not new to most of you who own these cars. Is that I'm just learning this as I go along. But basically, every time you replace a headlight or the brights or any one of these turning signal slash cornering lights, the process is the same. So one way, shape, or form, I'm going to have to do it someday. So I figured might as well take the time. The weather is okay. I'm underneath here, this shaded area. Plus the hood will keep me shaded, and it's only like 85 degrees today, so not scorching hot. So I guess I'm just going to be doing it myself. And based on what I understand, the first step is to remove these little things, and in my case they just twist off, which is strange. I guess one of them looks like one of them is a little bent, but okay. Well, I'm gonna be doing that. Got, once again, a very basic Walmart tool set. I think that's all I'm gonna need. And then there's one more right here, and in my case they twist. I've seen some other videos where they, like, you have to pull on them, but for one reason or another, in my case, they twist off. And then this whole upper portion, oh, nope, sorry, got two more of these things right here too. And right here. So, I don't know if you want to call it a beauty cover or a plastic shield or whatever this thing is even here for. Okay. So it looks like some of them are broken. But once again, they hold on, so that's all I can ever ask for. And then this whole piece, supposedly, yep, just comes right off. Look at that. No tools needed for this one. So here's that plastic thing that just came off. And it exposes. See, I've never even seen this before. Again, for those of you who mess with your cars more often than me. So what is this? Is this a horn? Is this where the horn is? I don't know. Looks like it, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so here's the latch mechanism. That's interesting. See, I've never seen that before. Such a light. Made in Canada. Huh. Interesting. Oh, and then this must be the cable that releases when you pull it from the inside. So then that thing shoots out. Huh, see, I'm learning as I go along. So this metal thing, okay, yeah, and then these are screws. So we got 1, 2, I think there's a third one somewhere. Yep, right there, 3. I'm gonna be doing the driver's side first. And then this right here, I think this is the main power cord. So I'm gonna be disconnecting this. I think. All right, I think I'm going to need to use both hands. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to be pausing and trying that. Okay, so that took a few extra minutes because, so basically here, using an 8mm ratchet. So you release this one, and this one right here. And then I couldn't get this, the main power cable off of it. So I actually had to wait until I would pull, I would loosen it, and I would pull it out of its housing here, and then I could easily remove this because there's just not enough room. I mean, I know what they were trying to do here, but it's maybe because mine was stuck on there much more than they were originally. So anyway, this one was a pain. This is, I'm guessing, why there's a hole in here for an extension. I just so happen to not have in my very cheap toolkit such an extension. That one is for a larger drive, so I had to use this little dinky one, so I had to basically maneuver just a couple inches at a time, so that screw alone took longer than these two. So, but anyway, as you can kind of see, this thing is off. Here it is on the ground, and based on what I understand, that the light bulbs are housed inside these little pods right here. So there's one pod here and one pod here. This is where the main power connects. And I'll spend some time, and oh, okay, so these right here, so these are like a little star, you know, screws right here. So I think I have something to release those. And yeah, there's one. So I'm going to be going and doing the same thing on the other one, and I'll show you what the Towncar looks like without headlights at all. Alright, so I released the other one, and I forgot to mention it. So there's this little tab right up here. So even with removing all the 3 screws, that thing is still kind of in there, but pressing this tab, like just literally with your finger, kind of releases it. There's like a little catch in there, and it allows you to pull this whole thing out, just like this. And yeah, this is something that you really need 2 hands. So, but once it's kind of out of its hole, this is the tab that I was talking about, so this just needs to be pressed down. It catches something on this end. This is where releasing this becomes a lot easier, at least in my case. So here you go, in case if you were wondering how a Lincoln Towncar looks without any headlights. Here's the look. Can't say it looks very pretty, but you know, such is life. Things happen. But we're going to make it all better. The fact that I was able to remove them gives me a lot of hope that I'll be able to put them back. So, you know, just by looking at it, these are these power connectors. This one has a rubber gasket for some reason. That one doesn't, so I don't know if it's in the headlight itself. Then it's interesting to see some of these, you know, things when you start uncovering, like behind it, like part numbers and stuff. There's some stuff back there. You know, it's interesting to see, like in the fender, there's just an empty hole and some leaf or whatever. So, interesting. And then something else I saw. Oh yeah, right here. There's some electrical connections here. Once again, this has nothing to do with the headlights, but this thing, whatever it is, this, I don't know, maybe something for the airbag? Anyway, then this is something also that's made in Mexico. Then there's another part that's made in Canada. Oh, here's the air intake right there, right down here. It's just a tube. Oh, I guess this poop is made in the United States, very locally made. All right, so let's take a look at the actual headlights that I pulled out of there. So what do you have? Now, this one is interesting too. It said there's a sticker on these that's called base. I'm guessing because this car, you know, Town cars, at least in 06, I know they came with 2 different options for headlights. The base, and I think they were, I don't know, halogen or some kind of other, you know, not these, whatever is the higher trim or an option. So I guess mine are base. So I'm guessing the light bulbs will be cheaper to replace when the time comes. So currently, you know, all the light bulbs work as far as I know. So I'm gonna spend some time and I'm gonna pull out these housings, and then I'm gonna take out what I have in there to put them back, basically to transfer light bulbs from here to there. Okay, so I spent some time with just a very basic tool right over here using the star head. Although it is also, I didn't realize that at first, it's also can be used as a flathead screwdriver too. So I don't know why they went that route. So anyway, so in this case, this would be a T20, you know, star, I don't know, screwdriver head. Anyway, so I removed these back cover pieces. This one actually came out, I think, out of that one. So it's like an internal connector, so I'll put it back in there. And I removed it, so now you can see the old and the new. The shrink wrapped is obviously the new one. Just by looking at it, you know, obviously that stuff is all aftermarket, but just by looking at it, you know, side by side comparison, I can't really tell them apart. Now, this one, I'm guessing this is the adjustment, you know, to level them, but like that's the factory one. You know, you have all your factory markings in here. You have, I saw somewhere a part number. It's all kind of in there, and I don't know what all these pluses mean, but anyway, you got like all the Ford stuff on the wiring. So, you know, I mean, all of it is good, but like, for example, the adjustment, like to level it here, they just made it a nice screw. Here, you actually need to have a special key for that. So, don't know what's up with that. Maybe they only want the dealership to work on. Going back here also to the connector, you know, yeah. Now these connectors have some sort of a rubberized, the red piece in there. This one didn't. So I wonder if maybe I'm gonna need to take out these rubber pieces and stick them into the wiring there where I connected. But anyway, you know, in general, it looks very, very similar. Now, I haven't opened this yet, so I will be doing that in a second. But as far as like mimicking the tab and everything right here and right here, and just like the overall look, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. So, all right, I'm going to be opening up this one next. Okay, so here is a good comparison from the original Ford and then the aftermarket. So when I opened it up, first of all, I noticed that the screws that they use in the aftermarket, just a regular Phillips head screwdriver is needed. So none of that star-shaped crap. So I'm all for it. Actually, make it easier for, you know, for an average Joe such as myself to do it. Now also I noticed this. So there's this rubber piece right here, and then there's whatever this is. So I'm thinking that's some sort of a tube to let the moisture out in case if it ever gets in. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe that's that. Now, besides that, there's some factory markings here which are missing here. There's just this stamp which the phone cannot seem to focus, but it looks like it was made in April. All right, there you go. In 2020, May, or M4M. I'm guessing that's the 4th month. You can kind of see some of the plastics are different. This is the aftermarket. This is the factory. And then there's some tape in here, and then there's some other tape in there which I have to take off. But in general, you know, it looks pretty much the same. So I'm not regretting, at least for now, to you know, that I bought it. Also here, some of these connection pieces here, they're using what, hexagonal screws. Here they're just using Phillips head screws, which like I said, I don't know why they feel like at a factory they need to complicate things. So then that little red rubber piece, I checked, yeah, that actually belongs to the connector. So I took it out of here and I stuck it in the connector. So there you go. All right, so I'm gonna start by transferring these bulbs, and I think they just twist off if I remember it correctly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go. So just the little bulbs. And like I said, as far as I know, they all work. So there's no need for me to buy new ones, but the process would be the same, whether it's the whole housing or the light bulb. So I'm going to be doing that now. Okay, so with this part, it was easy, and I did struggle a little bit. So this is the replacement one. So first of all, when I bought these, they said that there was no light bulbs included, you know, with that packaging, which is fine. I didn't expect there to be any. But then once I started taking these out, I realized they did not include the headlights, but they did include like the cornering light. They did include the turn signal there as well. So not sure exactly what's going on, but these two were not included. So the actual headlight and the brights. So they included some of them for whatever reason. I mean, I appreciate them. So I left these alone. So the one pain in the neck, to say the least, is this light right here, right there. Because to take it out, it's at such a weird angle and it's so tight in there, and I just took it out just so I can see what's going on. So it's whatever this It's whatever this light is. So I think it is a turning signal after all. So it's got 2 turning signals. All right. And because it's at such a weird angle and it's next to impossible to twist it, this is a twist type, so does this. This is super easy right here. Same as this one, I think that's the bright, if I understand it correctly. So to take this out, I am not looking forward to do that next time I have to. I also struggled with this. So this is, I think, the main headlight. Is because of this twisty little locking thing, it was really difficult to take out. So and it's the same thing on the original one as well. So once the headlight is out, yeah, it's very easy. It just twists and pulls out. But then when the light bulb is still there, it's really difficult. So I actually had to turn, I had to take these out to get to them. And then this one right here too was also pretty easy. So yeah, so anything that's kind of like this twisty type, that's easy. That's no problem right there. And I did look, I mean, they look fine. This one actually has markings on it. I don't know if you can see it. So I don't know, does it mean that this bulb is from 2011 or from 2005? I don't know. Or that it's good until 2023. So whatever it is, like I said, it's made in Hungary. It's nice, I guess. But I really hope I don't have to do this for a while, because now that I know how it works, it's going to be easier. But I tell you, I really struggled. I really struggled with this one, and I can see a lot of struggle when the time comes for this. So maybe there's some trick. I mean, I know you can technically remove this outer housing to give you more access, but I mean, it shouldn't really be that difficult. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to do the same thing with that one. Now I know that there's actually half of the bulbs are there, just not the 2 of the most expensive ones. It's gonna go faster. Okay, so after another 15 minutes or so, now the other headlight is all good and working right. Well, I shouldn't say working right, I should say that it's good. So it did have those side bulbs also, so I just replaced from the original one the headlight and the bright. So here they are. And then I'm looking in here in the original one, so this is kind of interesting. So there's the sticker that was put on 4/4 of 06, which is, that's when this car was rolled off of the assembly line. There's some part numbers in here, there's some barcode, Ford, sort of a QC stamp, and then also right here too, there's a sticker 425/6. So once again, proves that this housing is from an 06 Towncar. So again, just a sucker for these little things here. So what can I tell you, at least for now, and I haven't put them on yet, obviously. The experience, it's weird, because I don't think I've ever owned a car that required the whole housing to come out. I had other cars, obviously, before, and I replaced some light bulbs. I don't remember which one. Like, I know the tail lights, I replaced several. Probably, I mean, I had to replace the headlight on something, whether it was on a Camry or on a Sentra that I owned. I know I replaced some for the rear license plate lights on a Buick, and also on the Hyundai Elantra. So I did replace my fair share, but I don't think I've ever had a chance to replace light bulbs on a thing that requires the entire assembly to come out, even for one light bulb. So I can tell you that in that regard, this is not, this is not the simplicity that these machines are known for. At least this is in my humble opinion. Now, on the other hand, you can obviously pay your mechanic or dealer $75 or something per light bulb, and they'll do it for you. And maybe in this case it's justified, because like I said, this whole thing has to come out. On the reverse end of it, I can tell you this, that once I kind of figured out how to do this, because this one took about 40 minutes, because I was careful not to break stuff. I'm trying to understand how these things work, especially when messing around with this little contraption, because it wouldn't come out and blah, blah, blah. On this one, once I realized, okay, yeah, that one 15 minutes, just unscrew this, make sure everything is okay, and so forth. So on the other hand, assuming you're not replacing all of them at the same time, and I'm very thankful that they did include the side bulbs once again, pleasant surprise. I mean, yeah, half hour or so, maybe less to replace one. So if your time, is worth more, or if you can make more money than $50, $75, whatever mechanics or dealership will charge you, by all means, I think you should you know, you should pay them and have to do it yourself. But for me, just kind of sitting here in the grass next to my house, you got nice pine trees. You know, I'm in the shade right here, got all my tools. I got the box and all that stuff. So yeah, it's not too bad. So all right, so the next step, I will be putting these new puppies back in there, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. So here's my one-eyed monster. Looks nice. In retrospect, I wish I would have cleaned this poop, because I think I smeared it as I was installing it back. So next time when I have to actually change out the light bulb, I will probably find some poop on the other side of that. So the one piece of the puzzle where I noticed the quality of the aftermarket that's different from the factory is this fit and finish right here. So I just want to point this out. So like right up here, if you guys can see this gasket sticks out a little bit. You see, I can put my finger in there. And now it's all lined up here. That's fine, no problem, and it's nice and tight. But because this gasket on the factory one, it's one solid piece. On the aftermarket one, it's two pieces. So you can see this little gap right here. Now, it's not watertight, I get that. There's still going to be water coming in, you know, even with this gasket, you know, even with these panels here. Even when the hood closes, obviously it's not going to be watertight, but it's a minor little thing right here. So I don't know why they decided to go with a two-piece gasket. Maybe it's cheaper, maybe it's something, I don't know. But that's the one thing. Other than that, I mean, it fits fine. The screws fit fine. I was worried about things not lining up. They do, even down here. Even this little clip that you have to press in right here, right up here. So that all lined up well. So as far as the overall quality, I'm happy considering the price point. You know, these things new, they're over 200 bucks a piece. For this whole box, you know, I paid like 190, so it's more than half the cost saving, you know, for a little thing here. But once again, to me it's fine. I mean, they are crystal clear. Now, obviously, if they start fogging up in a couple months, or if they start taking on water the first time it rains, or I go through a car wash, well, that's going to be a problem. But then I will figure it out with the seller on Amazon. All right, I'm gonna be finishing this up with the second light to make it, you know, back to normal. Here we go. We got crystal clear headlights installed. On this side, things are better as far as this gasket thing goes, but then on this side, it's not touching. There's a little bit of a gap there. Once again, I've maneuvered this thing so many different ways, making sure that it's not me. See, this gasket is made of two pieces here too. So here it fit fine as far as, you know, not sticking out a little bit, but here it's not going all the way back. And then I pushed on it, and the screws here, I made sure they aligned, and I messed around with it some more. Then I checked on this side. And like I said, on this side, they seem to touching the back, but then on the bottom right here, they're sticking out. So I guess this is the one piece of the puzzle where having an aftermarket stuff maybe doesn't fit. Or look, it could be my installation too. Granted, it's my first time. And then I like how I just realized that these holes are cut out in this little cheap plastic for you to adjust it at a later time, which I will do. It needs to be dark, and I need to be facing the wall, so this will have to wait. And then, you know, I attach these things back on. So look, in general, this is obviously doable. This is obviously something that I'm glad I did it just from experience. Now my car does not have cataracts like those things. And I guess now the moment of truth. Let me try and turn hazard lights. Here you go. Hazard lights on, brights are on, obviously headlights are on. So everything is working. The only thing is, I don't know if these cornering lights work, because you have to be, I think, driving and having a turn light on. Although, let me try that. Maybe you don't have to be driving. No, I think you do need to be driving, because here's the turn signal on, and this thing is not lit up. So I'm pretty certain that this will work too. But there you go. All right. So once again, a little bit of a quality issue there. Very minor. I don't think it's going to impede on anything that, you know, functionality wise. If anything happens to these as far as, messing up, I will be posting about that, and I'll be reaching out to the seller. Now, as far as these things are concerned, I will be posting these things on eBay. Very honestly, with all the pictures, with all the details. Maybe somebody needs a wire or a screw or that back cover or something else. Because ultimately, these are factory. People pay a lot of money for these. So obviously, I don't expect to get, $200 a piece for it. But whatever, And plus, I will be saving those boxes. And now I wish I saved all the packing material. But anyway, I'll figure that out when the time comes. So yeah, I'll post a link for the eBay, in the description. Thank you all for going on this adventure, and see you next time.